Hello, everybody. Keaton Gillogly with you, and today we are joined by Donovan Walton, a member of the 2017 California League Championship team and a big leaguer who made his debut in 2019. Donovan, not Donnie anymore. Yeah, that's what you were going by when you were in Modesto. But how you doing right now during the quarantine?
Good. Try to keep myself busy. It's I know it's been crazy for everybody. But I think the more I keep myself busy, the more sane I'll be. So I've been fortunate enough to be back home in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and so been working out with my dad and getting ground balls and hitting, and then getting some workouts in afterwards. So it's been good. I've been spending a lot of time with my family, and my brother's in Texas. My sister's home, so the four of us, my mom and dad, just try to keep ourselves busy throughout the day.
Yeah, how is it keeping your swing intact when you really can't get true live pitching right now?
I always think back to when I was hurt in my first year with the Nuts. I couldn't do a lot. I broke my hand. And, a lot of guys, players I've talked to and the staff with the Mariners say that, visualization's a really, really good key. The more you do that and just, pick up a bat, kind of towards the end of the night after your swings and stuff like that, and just kind of visualize yourself in the box and trying to go through some live at bats you've had in the past, and then you pitchers you've faced. So I think that's a huge key. I did that in 16. I think it helped me, or 17. I think it helped me come back and perform when I was healthy.
What are some of the at bats you're visualizing?
I think with every player, position player, there's those swings you don't forget, whether it's a opposite field double or a pull side home run. And, a lot of guys, including myself, we have video of them. And then after you watch it and then try to feel that same feeling that you had in the box and try to repeat it over and over again. And I think it's very, very, useful key or drill to do.
So is there a specific pitcher you like to think about, going oppo with the double on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you try to – you know who the best out there right now, and, Cole and Verlander. And, I faced Sonny Gray in my debut. There's a lot out there, but even guys you haven't faced like that, and, try to visualize them on the mound. Or, the guys, can't think of all of them throughout the, Justin May, who's really, really good. I faced a lot, facing the drillers a lot this past year and going through those at bats and stuff like that. So, guys you see on your video for the past year and guys that you see on TV. So.
Well, let's go back to 2017 and that injury you were talking about. That's a really pivotal time in your career at that point because you were about to give up switch hitting. What was that timeline between the injury, when the conversation about giving up switch hitting was, and how that kind of played out?
Yeah, it's actually a really weird story how it happened. There's no talks of it. I know my dad and we talked about it once in college. Because I was struggling right-handed and was really taking off left-handed, and then we started figuring it out right-handed, and after my first year of short season, kind of the same thing, and it was like talks. It might be easier sticking the left side, and I think you can hit left-handers, yada yada yada, but we never just made the switch. And so I think we were playing in San Jose against the Giants, and I slid in and I felt my hand just pop. And my last at bat, I think it was right-handed, I got a hit. And but I slid into third, put my hand on the ground. I felt this pop, and then I go up the next at bat and I try to swing. I just felt a complete shock throughout my hand. I knew something was wrong. But after the game, I didn't say anything about it yet because they already called me in their office, and they're like, "Hey, we want to sit you down and talk about just hitting left-handed." And there's a couple rovers in town, and a lot of guys, a lot of coordinators in town. So we're all sitting down, and they're like, "Hey," going through the numbers, my numbers in college and stuff like that. Like, it shows left-handed, like you can produce more. There's, right-handed I was hitting just, a couple doubles and more singles, and left-handed I was hitting doubles, home runs, and putting way more competitive at bats. So the next day I told them about my hand. We try to rehab it for a week or two. Next thing you know, I'm just going to Arizona, get an MRI, have a crack, bone chip on the top of my hands, need surgery to take it out. And I'm going through my head, I'm like, what? I just switch. I'm about to make the switch left-handed. I told my dad after the conversation we had, he's like, go for it. They said, you can always go back to it, go for it. Let's see what happens. And I think getting hurt was probably the best thing for me, because I went and I rehabbed, and there was two lefties. Pistorici was one of them. He was rehabbing. And Zocan, he was another guy who was rehabbing. And I just stood in their bullpens as they were, trying to get healthy, and I just watched and stood and looked at left on left. And I think that really, really helped me, staying on one side, left-handed. And then when it happened with the rehab games, I felt more and more comfortable left on left. And then next thing you know, it's taken off. And I think it was probably one of the better moves I made.
Was it their left hand or the right hand that you'd hurt?
It was the left hand.
So the top hand when you were swinging lefties.
The top, yeah. So the top hand, yeah. And so, yeah, it was just they took I don't know if I can still see the scar, but just right on the top of my palm right here, or top of the hand right here.
Was it weird the first time you got in the box against a lefty as a lefty?
Oh yeah, because the first curveball you see, you're just like you kind of check yourself real quick and back out of the way, and but then you start to get used to keeping that front shoulder in, and then I just pick every lefty's brain, and one of the better hitters I've ever seen in my life, Eric Falia, I just pick his brain about what's different, and he goes, I just back off the plate half a foot. And this was after a couple weeks coming back. So I'm with the Nuts again, but I'm just hitting left on left, and I kept getting myself jammed. I was wondering why, because I felt on time. And Falia was like, "Hey, just give yourself some room. Just give yourself some room a little bit." And then that's what really clicked. I was like, "Oh, I can see it way better." And luckily it worked out.
Well, and the Nuts needed you in that championship run, go on to sweep through the playoffs in the first and second rounds of the championship round. And you had one of the biggest plays in that entire championship run, that defensive play in Game 2.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and grounded to the left side. Diving stop at shortstop. Kicks away from Walton. Hilliard coming home. The throw to the plate, and it's in time, and we're going to the 11th. Marte hit a ground ball up the middle. Walton laid out to his left. He got a glove on it, and it trickled into shallow center. Ocasio aggressively sent Hilliard to the plate, and Walton fired a strike to the dish. He applies the tag, and the potential walk-off run is thrown out at the plate to send us to the 11th inning.
What do you remember about that play?
I mean, that's one of my favorite plays or situations in a game I've ever been a part of, because listen from how Cowan tells a story, or listen how the coach or Mitch or Woody tells a story, or how Pistorici, he was pitching, how he told the story, that it makes me laugh every time because of what they're thinking. And I think at the time we had a shift going, and this is what Pistorici told me. So as soon as the ground balls hit, he thinks I'm, in regular spot, but I'm more on the pull side. The ball's kind of hit towards the middle. And so he as soon as he sees the ground ball, he's like out of the jam, He thinks we're good to go, and then he turns around and looks, and he's like, I'm about to dive for the ball, and he's like, oh no, And then luckily I got some leather on it, and then my second thought, I just get to the ball as fast as you can, because I know they're probably going to swing that guy, get that guy going home. Extra inning game, a chance to score the winning run. So I knew they were going to probably send that guy no matter what. The next thought was Cowan. I saw him get there and kind of towards it first because he was on the shift as well. But Cowan at the time had a hurt shoulder, and he could, barely. He was grinding it out like I've never seen it. He's got a tear in his labrum, I'm pretty sure at the time, and he's still making throws, but it's hard for him to throw, long distance. So second base was perfect for him. But anyways, he gets the ball and he thinks right away, as smart of a baseball player he is, he's like, I can't throw this, I'm not going to make it there. So he's like, Donnie, pointing at the ball. And I would just, luckily grabbed it and fired it as hard as I could. I didn't even know if I saw the catcher before I threw it. I just winged it over there. And, luckily it got there. And I think it was Nieto at the time. He put a good tag. But, no, it was awesome. And then I think what I really enjoyed was seeing Panky in the dugout just cracking up laughing because he knew exactly what Cowan was thinking and I was thinking going towards the ball. So it was great.
It was Cowan who had the go-ahead home run right after that in the 11th inning to win that second game,
yeah.
And then back home to clinch it at John Thurman Field just after that in Game 3.
Yeah, it was awesome. Awesome. Never forget that.
What are some of the other things that come to mind when you think of that 2017 team?
Just honestly how close it was. As players when the season's kind of towards the end. Coming to the park is kind of, you get tired and stuff like that. But I couldn't wait to just get in the locker room because, it's somebody's like, talking crap or, cracking a joke or something like that. With all those guys, it felt like a college team. Art Warren and Joe DiCarlo would always keep it loose. And, they made it fun. And Falia, of course, making everything fun and playing cards. It was you look forward to going to the ballpark each day with that group of guys. We had a lot of them go up to Double-A, so that same feeling was there. But honestly, I think we just wanted to win too. It was we made the playoffs, and first thing, I think everybody was saying like, we're here. Let's win this thing. We got a chance to win it. And so, it was just the enjoyment and the excitement around the team each day was awesome.
Jim Pankovits has come up a ton. I've talked to Pete Woodworth now, talked to Mitch Canham, and both those guys pointed to Pankovitz's impact on them, particularly because they were such young coaches at that time. Joe Thurston was there as a hitting coach as well. So he had some experience. But Pankovits was really the senior leader in terms of the coaching staff. What do you remember about Pankovitz's impact on the coaching staff and the team during that year?
Yeah, I give Panky a lot of credit to our team's success and our defensive play because he brought it every day. He was always teaching. There was always a teaching moment, whether I was not playing or I was on the field. Any advice or a play that happened, he had an answer for. And I think a lot of guys gravitated towards him just because the experience he had. And another guy that kept it loose, though, he, when we got our early work in, and then it was ground balls during BP, we made small competitions to just get to that next level and have some fun with it. So I know I love Panky. He helped me so much as an infielder. So he was awesome for our team. He was a huge key for that squad.
Do you remember the Panky lips?
Panky lips, yeah. Oh yeah.
Woody was doing his best. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, little kisses. Oh yeah, for sure.
Flashing the signs at third base.
Oh yeah. He's the man. Panky was the man.
Let's pick things up for you in the start of 2018. Now you're back in Modesto, 24 years of age at that time. You had a good run in Modesto the year before. So where was your head at coming back and repeating the Cal League at the start of that 2018 season?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I still had some stuff to prove. I missed quite a bit of the season, 6 weeks, 7 weeks with my injury. And so I totally get it. And, I had to prove myself, and it's all part of the business. But I think what was good, I was familiar with it. I was familiar with Modesto. I was familiar with the league, and I was comfortable there. And I think that was just a confidence booster, and I could, play relaxed. And playing with Mitch again, I knew the staff, playing with Woody and Joe, and so it was very comfortable. And then I felt myself just going out and just let the game come to me and go play. And I was fortunate enough to play really well, and then halfway through got called up by the Travelers, and it was a little bit of the guys that I played with last year or the year before in Modesto, so I was a little comfortable there as well. But I think as well, kind of like playing with those guys in Modesto again, just helped me be ready for Double-A. I think Mitch and Woody kind of just being with those guys again, and what you learn from the year before and going into next year, it just helped me become better prepared for sure.
Well, you got to move up with some of those guys to Double-A, and eventually last year with multiple guys from that 2017 team, you got a chance to get up to the big leagues. Before we get into the call and those big moments, how much developmental value do you think there is when you guys are moving up the ranks as a group together and hitting a lot of those ups and downs across the organizational ladder?
I say it all the time. I've been very lucky to get to be a part of it, or be part of the Mariners organization with the players that I've got to play with. Not only the staff, I mean, Roy, Hal, Brownie, Mitch, Woody, Thurston, all those guys, they've helped me tremendously and grow as a player. But I always say, like, players and your teammates, they've helped me so much. Logan Taylor was my roommate on the road, and I owe that guy a lot, just kind of keeping me mentally strong. And I think for both of us, we fed off each other. And, Evan White, Art Warren, Joe DiCarlo, Chris Mariscal. I mean, Cowan and I are very similar players, so I'll always go to Cowan and see, what he thinks here, what you got here. And I think playing with those guys the last 3 or 4 years has helped me so much. I've learned so much from them. And I've been very, very fortunate to have the teammates that I've had. And they've helped me so much. You're with each other every day. And, those guys had my back for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned Mitch a bunch, and during the 2019 season, he took that job at Oregon State, a dream come true for him. What was it like in the clubhouse from a player's perspective as he was going through that process and then eventually announced to you guys that he was making the move in season?
It was tough, but we were super happy for him. we all knew he deserved it. And when he left, we definitely missed him because he kept it fun. We definitely worked hard. We were outside every day, and he kind of let us know that, the first half we're putting in some work. We're going to be having some long days, but the second half, I got you guys. Like, we're going to take it easy on the second half, which I thought was smart. It definitely was some brutal times at times, being out in the sun, summer sun for long days, but it worked. And then he also kept it fun, and the team camaraderie and the chemistry that we had was the reason why we won so many games. It was because of him, because he was a great leader, and we were super, super happy, super stoked for him and his family, because those were his colors, in college. So super pumped for him.
You're a guy with a lot of college ties as well, between your dad and where you are now. And with the shutdown and the shortening of the draft and the season ending early, how do you see this? And nobody has all the answers, but how do you see this starting to impact college baseball right now and as we move forward?
A lot. I was a senior sign, and I couldn't imagine what the seniors are going through right now. I feel for them a lot, and shortening draft and all that. I wish they just would have kept it the same, even though I know there weren't a lot of games played, but honestly, I wouldn't know what to think if I was in their shoes. But as the college standpoint, I think if they stick with shortening the draft for years ahead, I think you'll see a lot more guys going to college, which can be more competitive. Because there's definitely been guys been drafted and around the 10th round, 15th round, who've gone out of high school, who are great players, but if they went to college, they could probably get to that next step before they hit the professional game. So I don't know. It could be 50-50. I'm not sure, but I would say a lot of players would consider going to college first.
I'd like to go back to spring training. What's your perspective of the day that baseball shut down?
We saw it kind of all happening. We would have a team meeting each day, and somebody would have the news. I had the news at one point, and we just would talk about everything. And the COVID-19 would be brought up every day, and it was just like something that was just going on, and nobody really thought of it. But it started getting more and more serious, and then there was a game against the Padres, and it was just raining kind of the whole game, and I was getting ready to hit like the 7th, 8th inning, and then they canceled the game, and I was kind of wondering why, because it was raining the whole game. We kind of played through it, but we get in the locker room, and Vogelback's kind of getting ready to leave, and he kind of stops everybody and stops Skip and tells everybody what's going on. NBA just shut down. No more games. And everybody kind of looked around and was like, well, here we go. We're next. Something's happening. So, and then the next day we got the news, and it just hit everybody like I've never seen. We all thought, hey, this thing's going to blow over, all this stuff like that. And, of course, it did not. And it was just a struggling time for everybody. But, we all know there's people with jobs out there and stuff like that struggling, going through way worse. But it definitely felt like we lost the game. Like everybody doesn't know what to do. They're lost. And because we've always been on a schedule, set on a schedule, and now we don't have one. So
Well, let's get back into some of the positive news for you. We go back to last year, and you guys were one of the best teams in the Texas League, and you had so much hope going into that playoff round, and a lot of attention with all those guys, including a ton of former Modesto Nuts. So let's go through it. Pete's told us the story, and it's kind of a long story about how you guys got called up. But let's start after that final out. What was the emotion like after you guys got eliminated from the Texas League playoffs last year?
Everybody was frustrated. Because we did want to win it. And like I said before, when we were with Mitch and he had everybody going, we were winning a lot of games. I mean, we did not lose in the first half at all, that much. But the second half we were good as well. And Cease got us going. And, we hit a little sled, but it wasn't like anything big. We knew we were still the best team. We felt we were the best team in that league, but we also knew what the Drillers had. But going in that playoffs, we thought, we were going to win that thing. We were facing the Drillers again, and, we lost to them last year in the last game. And, unfortunately it happened again. So it was frustrating, but it also was also like kind of sad at the time because we played with these guys the last 2-3 years, and a lot of guys are getting Rule 5, and kind of don't know where everybody's going after that. And so after the game, everybody kind of said their piece, and then a few players stepped in and said, thank you guys, love you guys, and I wish you guys the best of luck. And for whatever reason, I said something. I was the last player to say something, and just like I've said before, like how much I appreciate the players and the teammates I've had throughout this organization. I just wanted to show my love towards them and say thank you, and I appreciate them, and best of luck the rest of the way. And I'll admit it, I was a little teary-eyed just because they meant that much to me. And Cease and Woody, or it was Cease, he was just like, that man, that's awesome, and asked if anybody else had anything to say. And I'm going about my call up already, but
yeah, no, go for it.
He was like, anybody else got something to say? And nobody said anything. He's like, Donnie, that's awesome. He was like, but how do you like play 2 more weeks with a different team? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, this is my squad. This is my squad. Like, this Travelers my team. And then he goes, what about Seattle? And I just hit the floor. And just dropped and just started tearing up, crying, happy tears and like shock. And everybody just dogpiled me because we were all circled around, and I dropped to the floor and everybody just ran and just dogpiled me. And probably the best moment of my life, to be honest. And next thing you know, everybody gets up. I say thank you to everybody, give everybody a hug, and show them my love towards them. And then I think who was it? I said it was like somebody. It was actually one more person.
I think it was Dunn next,
or
right?
Dunn first.
I from Pete's story, I think it was Dunn next because they were like, oh, you need a pitcher and a position player.
And a position player, and then he was like, Dunn, how would you like to see Alum? And then everybody was just like going and dogpile him, losing it. And he's like, wait, hold on. We got an infielder, we got a pitcher, but we need an outfielder. And he's like, Kyle Lewis, what are you, how would you like to go to Seattle? And everybody, and Dunn dropped, Kyle dropped, and it was unbelievable. And then the best part was, we all thought it was done. Like everybody thought it was finished. It was us 3 going, and everybody's hugging each other. And then the last one, it couldn't happen to a better person. And the guy has been through so much in his life, and what he's gone through injury-wise, and, you know, coming from a small school. And he was my roommate in spring training that year, or last year. And so he was in the shower, and the coaches went in, and they came back out, and they're like, "Hold on 1 second, guys. We need a closer to finish this thing off." He's like, "Art Warren, how would you like to go to Seattle?" And he was coming out of the shower, and he was in the very back, and he's got his towel on, and everybody just ran to him and just, you know, gave him a hug and was going crazy and jumping on him and everything. And he lost it, because I think he felt all that weight get off his shoulders, and you know, and called his mom right away. We were all, you know, calling our folks afterwards, but it was super, super cool.
Oh, so you get the call. You thought your season was over. You're on your way up to Seattle. What was that timeline like? How quickly did you get up to Seattle after that?
We drove back to Arkansas that night, packed up everything. We were the last four in the locker room, just kind of gathering our stuff, and then stayed the night there. And then it was probably about 11 o'clock was our flight, and went straight to Seattle. And kind of the whole time, and Woody was with us, and kind of, it was all just a dream at that point. It was just like, I kept asking all the rest of the three guys and Woody, I was like, "What's going on right now?" You know, I kept asking, "What's going on? Like, this is not real, right?" Whatever. And I've probably asked that probably 20, 25 times. We're all just laughing. But no, it was very, very special.
What was that moment like the first time you got a chance to walk into the batter's box and out on the field?
So the first game, Scott brought us all in and kind of was like, "You know, you guys are all going to play," and told Kyle he's starting that first game. And we were all super jacked for him. And then I wasn't playing the first game, so kind of wasn't expecting to play. But all the guys, I thank them. They're like, "Hey, make sure you're ready, because you never know. You never know. You make sure you get ready." So I was just kind of picking Braden Bishop and Timmy Lopes, their brains, and Fraley. I was like, "Hey, just what do we got? What, you know, tell me what to do." And kind of just followed them and made sure I was ready for the game, and during the game. And Seager, so that first game, Seager hit a home run to go up one. And right before I was at bat, they told me I was going in, playing short for the ninth inning. I'm like, here we go. You know, we're up 1 run. And I just got to play defense. My first big league game ever, and back up. And as soon as I ran up the steps and I hit the first few steps in the grass, it all just kind of felt like I was in a movie. I was just I was just in a movie, and I'm like in a background, you know, actor in a movie. And I get out there, and then D. Gordon just grabs me and hugs me, or just grabs me by his arm. He's like, "Hey, relax, you know, take a deep breath." And I was just laughing. She's like, I'm trying. He goes, "You deserve this. Like, you belong here, and I'm jacked up for you. I'm super pumped." He goes, I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I got you." And I was like, that's awesome, you know, hearing that. And I see Seager, and he's just patting himself. He's just, "Let's go, baby. Let's have some fun." So I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are awesome. And then I saw Kyle Lewis out there, and he was patting his belt, nodding his head. But as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, that's familiar. You know, I recognize that guy, and that kind of calmed me down. And after the first ball was hit and we got the first out, I was honestly, I was kind of ready right then. I felt ready. I was like, you know, hit me a ball. Let me get this out of the way, kind of deal. And then my first at bat was the next night, and Sonny Gray was pitching. And it was funny. The Reds was the first big league start I had in spring training game.
So first spring training game I started was against the Reds, and the first big league game was against the Reds. But I think what was cool was Kyle Lewis' first at bat. Been through injuries and everything, and everybody was waiting for him to get there. And so when he got called, everybody stood up and went crazy for him. I was like, hey, that's awesome. He deserves that. He's been through a lot. And I was not expecting that at all. And then so when they called my name, they kind of did the same thing. You could just feel it. It was one of the greatest feelings in the world. And I stepped in the box and kind of seeing Sonny Gray. It's like next thing, it's like I'm in a movie, whatever. I'm like, this is not real. And I think the first pitch he threw was a ball. And thank God it was, because then I was just like, okay, that's all I needed to see. I needed to see one pitch. And luckily put a good battle and walked on about like 8 pitches, I think it was. I think the first swing I took, I almost threw my back out. I swung so hard. But other than that, it was a good at bat.
You had that great diving play to your left on a ball up the middle too. Was that when do you remember when that part was? Which game that was?
That was my first at bat of that game. And Marco Gonzalez, our freaking guy, is pitching the ace, and you want to play defense and show him what you got. And at that point too, I was just like, after throws and everything for the game, I was like, I'm ready to go. Let's just hit me one and get this out of the way. And I was fortunate enough, it was a diving play where I just kind of didn't have to think much, dive, catch it, get up and throw. And that, I was very, very fortunate, just because it kind of just let everything go. And now it's like, okay, I can play here. I'm confident. And that definitely helped.
So you're grateful that it was like an above average play that you couldn't really think about, because if it was a routine play, you'd be overthinking it.
It was just like, go, get it, catch it, throw, So I didn't really have to think about it too much. So I was very, very lucky for that.
Final thing I want to get to is, we knew you as Donnie while you were down in Modesto. You've told the story before, but would love to hear it again, just when you made that decision to switch over to Donovan.
Yeah. I didn't really think about switching it at all. Somebody came up to me and was like, man, I didn't know your real name was Donovan. And I was like, yeah. It's Donovan Walton. Everybody just called me Donnie growing up. I didn't even, refer to my name as Donnie or anything. I always told myself, hey, Donovan Walton, every person I met. And but all my friends, all my coaches growing up, was always Donnie or some nickname they gave me. And then they started putting it in the newspaper, and I didn't even say anything. I just was like, oh, okay, Donnie. But my grandma Glover, I was named after her dad. And so she was always kind of upset that my actual name wasn't in there. And so I forget who asked me, but they're like, do you want me to call you, like, do you want us to call you Donovan? And I was like, I don't really care. Like, you can call me Donnie or Donovan, either one. Or then they asked me, do you want Donovan on the scoreboard? And I was like, what, honestly, that would make my grandma really happy. Yeah, you can put Donovan up there, and she'll enjoy that for sure. So my grandma Glover, that's the person I did it for.
So that means the first time that you like really got it changed was when you got up to the big leagues, or at AA? No,
in the big leagues. It was actually this spring training.
Okay.
It was this spring training. Somebody asked me, and so they did that for me this spring training during the games. They put Donovan up on the scoreboard. So
it was still Donnie during the first the debut at bat.
Oh yeah, it was Donnie. Yeah.
Well, great, man. It's great to see a familiar face, reminisce about some of the fun times, and man, it's a tough time right now. But I'm glad we had a chance to sit down and chat and catch up like this.
Same as well, man. Thank you for having me.
John Thurman Field is the place for fun.